Absolutely. No, you're right. I mean, yes. That's perfect. So.
There's an anecdote that Camille Sansone was a child prodigy in every field that he looked at, from mathematics to music to agronomy and various things. And Liszt once said about him, he knows everything. What he lacks is inexperience.
I'm going to quote that. That would be perfect. Yeah.
It sounded like what you were.
Yeah. That's. I mean, you know, we always hear these terms that before you can learn, you need to unlearn, and all these sort of, you know, someone told me, you know, they went to even on a simple level, they went to a firing range to shoot a gun, and they went to the military to shoot bigger, but they had learned when they lived in like Tennessee or whatever that shooting was a certain way. They based it on the wind, and you know, they had like a shotgun. You know, they didn't aim exactly. They aimed over here. They did that, and when they got in the military, they said they had to unlearn that in order to learn. And so I think on all levels, knowledge is useful, but it also has to be malleable. It has to be able to change in a context. Each context asks us to rethink the knowledge that we have. So knowledge is great. I need knowledge. I couldn't speak today without knowledge. But I also feel, in order to communicate, that I have to be open to changing that knowledge. Otherwise we wouldn't have discussion today. I would just be telling. And that's part of my problem with pedagogy, is that so much of pedagogy is based on telling instead of asking. And I think that when we ask our students, as there's a lot of professors I'm sure in here, when we start asking them to think, it changes the framework. I have better results. I'm sure that someday, and my students are from the Bronx, and I used to teach at the campus up in Westchester, and I left because I wanted more of a challenge. I really like teaching students who are so, that thinking changes their life. It doesn't just change. They don't just get a bachelor's degree. They literally, I've seen students who say that their way of dealing with HIV is different because they're able to think. I mean, you know, this means a lot to me. More than, oh, you got your bachelor's degree. I really care about that this person can find himself. Philosophy should do something. It shouldn't just act like knowledge.
Michael, I'm thinking about this idea of naming something, and Sir, who mentioned it before, was frustrated with the difference between sort of gathering knowledge and thinking.
Right. Because I'm very interested in metaphor. Obviously, because metaphor is the transformation. It is meaning without sensation, right? It's meaning. The reason we like a poem is not because we have knowledge of the poem. It's because we sense what the poem is about. If I said to you that a poem means A, B, or C, it's not a poem. So naming, I think I'm getting to your, is that a question that you asked? Is naming is it's like memory, right? It's an attempt, a beautiful attempt to fix the chair. You know, I mean, as an artist doesn't, like Duchamp, doesn't just see a urinal as something we urinate in. It's also a piece of art. I mean, we can talk, it's not a piece of art, but it's a piece of art. I mean, I think the beauty of their art is that it's not art, but it's art because it's not art. You know, it's got that inability to name, to go back to what you're saying. If I call it a urinal and I go to the bathroom in it, it's not art. But if it's sitting in a museum in the context, then we call it art. So context makes the difference. It's not the urinal itself. But again, I mean, I think that art, that would be another, if you guys do another topic, it would be on, you know, this idea of how art does not allow itself to be named. That's what I would say. You know, it refuses totalization. And poetry for me is, as I'm going to talk about, is it shows us this sense, you know, this becoming. But hopefully I'll get back to that. I'll keep going. Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to Gordon McKay. Help me on the spelling of the word. Who? Virgin McKay? What's the place where you can have breakfast, lunch? Boynton McKay, thank you. Boynton McKay has a facility, and you can eat a little, and I guess it's an old-fashioned place where you, I have it coming up really well, but it used to be a place where they did
Pharmacy.
pharmacy, thank you. But the thing that's even better is they have it started by the conversation that you just had, is they bought something, or a facility is a book reading information about going to the bathroom. And it sits right in there. So you don't have to ever need to look at it, but just looking at it as if you could sit and look at it.
Right.
It's a piece of art just to look at it.
Right.
And the humor of it is 1.5 of humor, too.
I mean, that's humor is great because of it's, again, we don't laugh about what we know. It's always the joke that I think it's Zizek, that Slavoj Zizek, who talks a lot about jokes, because jokes are exactly that, you know, we get it because it's so completely outside of comprehension, right? I mean, it's not like we totalize the joke. We get it, but we don't get it. That's the laughing. I think we laugh when we're confused, mostly.
And not only that, it's the kind of one where it's one person, there's no male and female facility there.
Right.
It's a good or we know, one person goes in, man or woman,